When you become a myeloma patient, not only do you have to deal with your diagnosis and the emotional and physical aspect of living with multiple myeloma, but you have to now also figure out how are you going to pay for your medication? Where are you going to get second opinion?
Hello, I'm Tom Snow, the General Manager for Oncology in the U.S. at Sanofi, and I'm here today with Yelak Biru, the President and CEO of the International Myeloma Foundation. Yelak, welcome.
Thank you for having me here, Tom.
Excellent. First, just tell me a little bit generally, what do you want people to know about the mission and priorities of IMF?
So the International Myeloma Foundation has been in existence for 35 years, and our mission has always been improving the quality of life of myeloma patients while working towards prevention and a cure. And the IMF has 4 pillars: support, education, advocacy, and research. And our goal is really to be able to envelope the patient through care, support, and advocacy from their journey to whenever they don't need us anymore.
And how do you listen to patients, and what do you hear from patients that compels your work? I should add too, you are a myeloma patient yourself, so how do you bring your own perspective into your work at IMF?
Yeah, so this year the International Myeloma Foundation actually will celebrate 35 years since its foundation. I'm also a myeloma patient, as you mentioned. I was diagnosed actually 30 years ago at age 25, and I was told I will be dead before I ended up being 30 years old. So that is 30 years ago, which means, I will be turning 55 in spite of, my hair or my hair loss. So we listen to patients in a variety of ways. We have our info line where patients actually are able to call us and tell us about their challenges and ask us for how to navigate their myeloma journey. We hold patient and family seminars, but I think our flagship way of being able to listen to the myeloma patients is through our grassroots support groups that we have in the US and also globally. We have over 170 of them here in the US and about 8 of them virtual. And these are support groups that are really entrenched in the community that allows us to truly listen to patients. And what we hear from patients is a few things. One is care is very disconnected. When you become a myeloma patient, not only do you have to deal with your diagnosis and the emotional and physical aspect of living with multiple myeloma, but you have to now also figure out how are you going to pay for your medication? Where are you going to get second opinion? So that disconnected care is one of the biggest challenges patients have. The second one is as it relates to innovation and access is extremely disconnected and also cumbersome for patients. And the last item is because of the innovation over the last 20 years, 17 plus drugs approved for multiple myeloma, the care is very frictionful. I don't know what drugs I should be on, if I relapse, and when I relapse, what I should be on.
So you talked about some important unmet needs for patients. How can organizations like the IMF and companies like Sanofi work together to address these needs?
Yeah, I think our relationships needs to be at the collaboration level because we both are working on behalf of people like me. And when I say people like me, I don't mean president and CEO of the IMF, but a myeloma patient. And for us, we have 3 priorities that we are intending to continue to focus on. Priority number 1 is addressing the disconnection of patients, which is creating a truly connected global patient experience. The second one is really helping organizations like you and also helping the FDA and other regulatory bodies through the use of real-world evidence. We want to be able to collate and generate real-world evidence to complement the scientific research work that you are doing.
So looking to the future, what gives you hope about scientific innovation and how we can do better for patients?
So over the last 20 years, 17 approved drugs for multiple myeloma. That is a huge win thanks to organizations like you. But myeloma continues to be incurable. Patients continue to relapse. My hope is someday in the next 5 to 10 years, you can tell me that this subset of myeloma patients are cured. And innovations like immunotherapy, CAR T therapies, and other therapies, and a better subset of myeloma patients can actually, as you say, die of something else and not of multiple myeloma.
What, maybe on the flip side, what frustrates you the most about the system that the patients have to move through when they're diagnosed with multiple myeloma, for instance?
So I think that theme of disconnected care, not being able to access therapies, knowing that there is a therapy that could bridge me to the next best treatment that is around the corner, and me not being able to access it is very frustrating. And I'm sure it is also very frustrating to you.
You, when we were together last month, you corrected me, I think very rightly so, because I talked about how with some of the newer treatments, patients could live a normal lifespan with multiple myeloma, which is true in some cases, but you also pointed out that there are many patients like you who are diagnosed at a young age. For a newly diagnosed patient today who is in his or her 30s, what would be your kind of one piece of advice to give?
There is hope, and that hope is based on data, information, scientific advancements. When I was diagnosed, there was no novel therapy that was available for the treatment of multiple myeloma. Today, we have multiple treatment options. So embrace the journey. This is the new normal. Myeloma still is going to be a lifelong adversary, but you have allies.
Excellent. If you could give me or my company one piece of advice, what would that be?
Use innovation, use technology, use your collaboration, use your power to continue to accelerate innovation.
Wonderful. Yelak, thank you for all you do every day to give more and more patients hope. Thank you for the great collaboration, and thank you for spending time with me today.
Thank you so much for having me.